Hello everyone, welcome back. This is second session about the installation Bicep tools. In this session, we are going to see the quick comparison between JSON syntax and Bicep syntax. So most probably everyone might be aware about the JSON syntax. So let's quick compare the JSON syntax and the Bicep syntax. Okay, how we use the expressions, how we use parameters, variables, settings, logical operators, resources, loops, output. So these are the things we are going to see into comparison. Okay, so how we write the expression in JSON as well as the Bicep, how we use the parameters, how we use the variables, how we use the logical operators, like that one. So let's get started on the code. So when we, if suppose in left side I have the Bicep template, you are able to see the symbol of the Bicep, and right hand side I have the JSON template. Okay, so I have the installation method we'll see in next in a few minutes, but let's have quick the comparison. Okay, so this function how we write in ARM, so the function always be inside my square braces. Okay, and the square braces should be have been in the double quotation mark. In Bicep we don't require the square braces and the quotation mark. The parameters, basically how we write in the JSON, is just start with the parameter. Inside that parameter block we just write the parameter name and the parameter type. Suppose we are going to give the default value, we are writing inside this one. So we have to take care about the curly braces and the closing curly braces, and between that we write the parameter value, default values we can write, and the parameter along with the parameter name. So in just and how we call that parameter, like just again a, a double quotation marks along with these square braces and parameter name, basically whatever the parameter name we are going to give. In this example we are created the parameter, then we can just call the parameter name. But in Bicep, if you see, it is quite easier. You have to just start with the param keyword, then the identical name of the parameter, then what type of parameter you are going to use, and equal to assign that value. If suppose you are not given the value, so while executing the command you can directly give the value. Okay, and how we can call the parameter, like directly with the parameter name. So we don't require to specify double quotation, the square braces, nothing like that. So it is quite easy. So let's go and see how the variable basically. So how we can declare variable into the JSON format is start with variable blocks. Inside the variable blocks, we start with variable name and variable value. But in Bicep, we directly start with the var keyword and the variable name, and they are assigned by the different values. Okay, so like that one. If suppose I want to construct the value with the parameter name, so how we can give the parameter var. Okay, var I want to just take a location is equal to resource group and the location, like that one. So if suppose I want to, okay, so like that one. But if suppose I want to use in here, so I have to use like this one, or write like this one, and I can use the value like variable, again the name of the variable. But here I can directly specify the variable, I don't require to give the variable and the square braces and again the quotation marks. The string, basically the string we use the concatenation for the username, for the name of the resource. So sometimes we use lot of concatenation into the template. If you see the concatenation in the JSON, okay, so we use the concat function along with the parameter name, and we can give the prefix inside this one. Along with that, a static string. Okay, so whatever prefix is going to be here, and then it will apply the string. Okay, it will concat the two string together and form the name. But in a Bicep template, I can assign directly the prefix name or the whatever the parameter I want along with the dollar curly braces, and I can directly use the string as a static string. So it will just concatenate the things. Okay. The the logical operator, basically, if we see, the logical operator is quite good in Bicep. Okay. Let's see the how we can just return the value from the logical operator and. Okay, in JSON, how we are just writing, starting with the and inside the square braces, and then we are just giving the parameter and the parameter second parameter. If it is true, okay, so we are just validating the condition if parameter is Monday, value if true, or value if false. Okay, in same way, how we can construct the syntax in the Bicep is Monday and is November. Okay, if value is true, what will happen? If value is false, what will happen? Like that. So the resource block, how we are just writing into the ARM is quite difficult, or it is one of the syntax is much more harder, I say, into the ARM, because inside the resource block I have to write the one resource, and then I have to specify the dependencies on that one. I always start with the type, which type of resource I'm going to use, then API versions, names, required parameters, the optional parameters I want to provide. Okay, the same way how I can just write the resource block is like nothing but resource, the resource identical name, then I can just use the type, along with the type I can use the API version, and start equal to, I can it will just populate the required parameters. That's it. So I really like it in the Bicep. So if you see the loops inside the JSON, is quite, if suppose I want to go through loop, then I have to use the copy function. Basically, the copy function, basically, it is quite difficult, and sometimes we are not able to find out a small issues to just go for the for each for the loop into the, if suppose I want to create a firewall rule. Okay, and I have provided the array as a parameter. So my array is taking multiple IP address, start IP, end IP, and I want to go with a loop. For that one, it is like it will take time, right? Because you have to use the loop, okay, for loop with count. The count will just take the length of that parameter, and then I can just call this copy function name inside my start and end IP address, like that one. But here I like it, I can directly write a for loop in storage account names. Okay, I can write multiple things, it will just go with the for each items. So this is one of the very good, basically. And again, if suppose I want to just take an output of the one of the resource, so that is one of the, again, I have to go with the output blocks, where I need to just give the any identical name and the type, and the value should be the reference of that specific resource what I want. Okay, for example, here I'm just calling the host name. Okay, how host name is getting reference, the reference resource ID, which resource ID I want. So this is the resource ID where I can just use the FQDN, fully qualified domain of that resource. Okay, like that one. But in bicep, if you see output host name string is equal to public IP dot, so it is just going inside one by one, one by one, like that one. If you work on the any query based language, so you can just write the things, the query on that part, you can just use the one by one. If suppose have you use have work on the Kubernetes part, if suppose you want to just pull out some information from the pods, so you can use the uh, these type of queries basically. So these are the simple comparison we have seen for the expression, parameters, string, variables, logical operators, resources, and loops and outputs. Okay, so next now we are going to see the setup of our dev environment. So how we can install Bicep, then how we can use the VS Code as a dev environment. Okay, then we need use Bicep CLI. Okay, so let's get started with the VS Code basically. So this is my VS Code. Okay, so if you see here, let me save it. Okay, if you see here, this by default this VS Code will open like this one. You can directly go with a file, open a file, a folder. Okay, so always keep open a folder. You will be like this one. Okay, so this is my one of the folder I have opened. And if suppose this is an extension, I can install any extension, but for this course or these sessions we require a Bicep. So this is the one of the way you can install the extension. Okay, and you can start writing your own files. So once you have to install the extension, so you have to install the Bicep. Okay, so to install the Bicep, you can open. So first you need to check the AZ module is installed, like with this AZ version. Okay, if it is not installed, you have to install the AZ module, PowerShell AZ module. On this web page, you can configure the Bicep dev environment by using the CLI. Okay, if suppose you have the PowerShell, then it is required your PowerShell should be a version. PowerShell version should be a 5.6 or later. You want to install the binaries, so you can click here. It will just start the download the Bicep, and you can install on the Bicep. Again, once to requirement is like you have to the AZ you need a AZ version. AZ model need to be installed, so you have to check for the your AZ version. Okay, apart from that, you can start installing the Bicep. Okay, I'm just placing this page into the description. If suppose you want to refer, you can refer from there. So how you can just start with the Bicep file, you can click here or you can click new. Okay, so better way, every time you can click here, right click new file, or click here. Okay, so let me just start main.bicep. So see, automatically this language will automatically pick. Okay, and you can start writing the code. So if suppose you want to start with your Bicep code, what you can do, you can just type a resource, and it will type, you can type with the resource keywords. Okay, then it is required your identical name. I am going to create a storage account. Okay, and then it will just pop up the type. You can just type the storage name, storage account, then you can select the latest API versions, then you can construct. Okay, just give the space after is equal to, and you can just required parameters. In required parameters, you can just start with the name. What will be your storage name? You can use one. Okay, the location, you can just give the location, so you can just type directly location. Instead of that, you can just call the resource group location. So if suppose you want to just call the resource group location, then you can just call the resource group, and it can be populate the resource group location. Okay, Then what is your storage type? Okay, so SKU type, whatever your reward SKU type, you can take it. So nothing but it is standard LRS I am taking, and what kind of resource you are going to be create. So this is my storage v2. By using this one, you can create the storage account in your Azure subscription. So we have installed the extension in VS Code. Bicep CLI we install from that. We can install from that portal, and we can create the bicep file as an initial setup. So hope this video is informative to you. Okay, and one step again ahead towards to learn the bicep, and definitely we'll stay tuned for the next session to how we can start the different type of concept of the bicep. Like we start with the bicep file, we start with the bicep data types, then parameters, variables, lot more. Okay, so please, if you like, please subscribe and just press the bell icon to get updated information. So see you soon. Thank you. Bye bye.